Hey, 5 o'clock, you're hopping in your rig, you're heading home. You have the weekend in front of you. And as a matter of fact, Ballgame and Prater here, it's the final weekend where you're not going to have any college football, Prater, actual games, because next week, week 0 kicks off. So for a lot of people out there that are, college football couch potatoes, it's the last weekend of the year. You have to do whatever it is you want to do.
It's kind of bittersweet ball game. Summers are always beautiful, but college football, there's nothing better. Fired up. Is that first game? Man. That first game, there's like a morning game in Ireland or something like that, or is that Friday night? Or is
I don't think there's a Friday game. I think all week 0 is on Saturday. I have to double check that. Right. I want to give you some advice, Prater.
I'm not sure I'm happy about this.
Don't gamble on the Little League World Series. So hard to handicap. When you lose, you're like, I lost because I just bet on a couple of 12-year-old kids and they screwed me over.
Yeah, that's you have a problem, Johnny.
I'm on a cold slide right now with my picks. I'm losing to JP. I'm losing betting on these kids on the Little League World Series. You just can't handicap it. So advice out there for the kids, don't bet on the LLWS and lose like your boy Johnny Ballgame. All right, we got the cameras turned on in the rowpaint.com studio, so you can follow us, watch us on our YouTube channel, social media channels. Prater, let's get after it. Boise State, a closed scrimmage. As far as we know, they aren't doing any public scrimmages this entire offseason, which is different from in the past with the fan fest and all that stuff. But we're going to say, just kind of in a joking level, we're going to hop the fence.
Yes, sir.
We're going to sneak into Albertson Stadium.
Are we joking about this?
Yeah. Wink, wink. We're joking about this. Whether we're going to be in the stickle looking down, whether we're going to be under the bleacher somewhere, we're sneaking into Albertson Stadium to watch this scrimmage. You got your notepad there, you old scribe. What are you looking to see? You're covering this thing.
I go back to last week when the first words out of Andy Avalos's mouth were the offense looked really good. The offense went on a 75-yard opening drive. The offense went and scored, although he wouldn't tell us who scored that touchdown. I want to see continued success, continued momentum from this offense. I don't want Andy Avalos to come back tomorrow at his press conference, and we'll have all the audio for you on Monday. We'll break it all down, and even though it's secret, we have access to Andy Avalos after the scrimmage, and we'll get you all the audio and tell you everything that happened, or at least everything that he said that happened. But I need Andy Avalos. If he comes out and says the defense just dominated this offense, that's a major blow to how I feel about this football season. Continued momentum for this offense. They need to keep shining. They need to do what they have to do, get off to a quick start, maybe show a flash a strong run game. But I just need to see an offense, and I don't even need to see it sustain throughout the whole scrimmage, because the way they play around with some scrimmages, they can do different things. Maybe just those first couple of drives. Give me a couple of drives, couple of touchdowns, enough for Andy Avalos to come out in his press conference and say the offense continues to look good.
Yeah, I think I'd start with the quarterback, and that's not the, hey, who's going to win QB2? No, I'm starting with number 19. I'm talking with Hank Bachmeier, who's been QB1 in this town for now 4 straight years. And every single year except this season, Prater, he's had to win the gig. Like, it hasn't been announced. First year, what was it? Chase Cord, Jalen Henderson on that team when he was a true freshman, he won the gig. Then 2 straight years, he beats out Jack Sears at fall camp and continues to be the leader. And, as much as people want to say, Hank might not be the guy, he makes me uneasy, I just don't think he's that good, he's mediocre, all that stuff about Hank, all he does is win quarterback competitions. I want to see Hank Bachmeier, like you said, double down on the 10-play, 75-yard drive. Let's have this offense in rhythm, and it starts with the quarterback. I think the offensive line is going to be improved. I'm going to be surprised if it's not. And behind this offensive line with a veteran, experienced, savvy quarterback with a great running back, who knows how much Helani will play in this thing. But that's what I would be looking at. Hank Bachmeier, just how good can he be? And you'd think a 4-year starter, and he knows this defense so well. He plays against them every day. I want to see this offense turn that corner this year. I want Tim Plow to get some praise in this town this year, Prater, and get some people off of his back. And that offense, man, I don't know what the health situation is like for certain players too. So if certain guys are out, that means other guys get to step up and have their opportunity in a secret closed scrimmage like Andy Avalos wants to do with this program and see what that offense can do. I love what the defense is doing, but Boise State, they have to score more than 30 points a game this year if they're going to get to our predictions of 9-3, BJ's prediction of 10-2 with this team. You got to be able to score. You got to be able to dominate. You got to be able to move the ball and move the chains.
Yeah, and you're not wrong, but I'm not worried at all about Hank Bachmeier tomorrow. He'll be very, very controlled. He'll only get a couple of series. If we're just talking, you kind of went off on a season tangent there. If we're just talking about the scrimmage tomorrow, I think he's going to come out and play a couple of series, look pretty smooth. It's absolutely controlled. It's totally scripted. You can't rush him. You can't do anything. Hank Bachmeier is going to look spectacular tomorrow, no matter what.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Defensively, is there anything tomorrow? We're sneaking into this scrimmage. What do you want to see with the defense?
Let me get this out of the way before I forget it. And speaking of Andy Avalos in his press conference, when he showed up last week, I was a little embarrassed for him. That mustache needs some help. I need to see a significant amount of growth, at least a week-long worth of growth from Andy Avalos' mustache.
He had a mustache last week?
Well, yeah, that's the problem. It looked like a little silkworm.
Okay.
And maybe he just started it. And you're talking to a guy that took a year to grow this little Peasley-ass beard right now. So, Andy Avalos, what I need to see from you on Saturday is just a little bit more growth out of your mustache. You didn't see that one coming, did you?
No, man. I didn't even notice any shred of a mustache last week. I was at that Saturday press conference, but yeah, hopefully it's a little better this week. And here's the thing with the defense. Cortez Hogans, who was the transfer, right? The JC transfer that came over from it was at NIU, and then he had another JC that he went to, the D tackle, and Devin Wright, kind of the situational pass rusher. Those two JC guys, they liked getting them in there. I haven't heard much about either of them at camp. I'm guessing they're down on the depth chart. I wanted to see guys like that get this opportunity. So I would be looking at that at the scrimmage tomorrow too, to see if they can move any which way on the depth chart. Because right now it's looking like the defense is probably set unless some guys are going to get hurt, right?
I think, well, that leads me to what I want to talk about maybe then. I'm looking for separation in what I've identified this week as 6 very intense position battles. And I think that there's only 2 of them on defense. The field safety between Oladipo and Robinson, I think that's a legitimate competition. I'd like to see somebody separate there. I'm not sure. Right now I have Oladipo as the number 1 guy on my depth chart, but it wouldn't surprise me if Robinson was the guy. And then also at the other cornerback spot, Biggers, I believe, is locked up one of the cornerback spots, but the other cornerback spot is between Markel Reed, which might be the leading guy right now because they marched him out for press conference interviews this week, or LaBeouf, or maybe even Kaniho. All 4 of those guys have started. So I need to see some separation from the field safety and the cornerback position. I also want to see some separation, I don't care who, from QB2, whether that's Green or Vidlac. I'm looking at maybe some nose tackle between Gums and Cravens as well. And I guess even the weak side linebacker between Schramm and Banya, and maybe even Hawkins. I think there's some intense position battles going on. Even punter. We got a big battle between Farron and Ferguson Reynolds at punter. And I'm very curious, just out of personal curiosity, who's going to win the kickoff battle. Kind of pulling for Jonah Dalmas, but he's in a spirited battle with Farron as well at the kickoff spot. I think they're going to spend a lot of time tomorrow working on special teams.
I want to see Dimitri Washington. I want to see George Tarlis, the edges, the defensive end on this. What type of playmakers are they going to be this year? That's what I would want to see from that scrimmage tomorrow. How much pass rushing is this defense going to have on this against this offense? Andy Avalos has spoken about just what Tarlis has brung to this defense and this situation. And Dimitri Washington, and here's a guy who was supposed to be a first-team all-conference player a couple of years ago when he got hurt. Does he get back to that first-team all-conference level? And tomorrow during this scrimmage, I mean, this is when these guys are going to have to make these plays. Could there be a big rotation at pass rusher? Maybe. But if Dimitri and Tarlis can't get off the field because they're putting such good pressure on quarterbacks, and that's going to be a problem or a situation, a good situation, I guess, for Spencer Danielson, Prater.
I'm looking for a big play, just one big play from Taylor Green to Austin Bolt. I was hanging out in the corner of a practice earlier this week with BJ Rains. We were kind of off onto the side where the offensive linemen were working out. And just as we were watching the offensive linemen, we noticed a big old play coming our direction. And Taylor Green had launched that big old fat ball in the air. Austin Bolt was heading our direction, and they didn't quite pull it off. And BJ turned to me and he said, Can you imagine if that happened during the regular season of a home game, the kind of buzz that the stadium would have? It would be spectacular.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see Taylor Green and Austin Bolt hook up if they ever do. It was just kind of a reminder to me that it would be kind of ceremoniously good to see that. I think it would be a big moment for this football team. And if Green can connect a Bolt on a long drive tomorrow or on a long pass play, I think that would be very, very motivational for this offense.
Hey, you've covered this team a long time. Do you ever remember, I'm sure it's happened before, right? An off season or a fall camp where there was nothing open to any type of fans to see a scrimmage or a fan fest. Do you ever remember? Because Andy Avalos has locked the gates on this thing. As far as we know, they're not going to do a fan fest. They're not going to do a scrimmage where they invite everybody out to the Blue to watch it like they've done so many times. Yep. Why do you think, what's in Andy's head on that? That's what I'd like to crawl into this stadium and hear maybe what he's going to say as to why we're not letting anybody see what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm not even sure it's Andy's decision. It could be an administrative decision. There's a lot of stuff going on down there. I have no idea why. Since 1994, I can't remember. I mean, I think they used to always do fan stuff, but maybe they didn't for a while. We just went through COVID where I have no idea.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Either.
It'd be nice to get out there and do something. You know, they used to always have Bronco Day and Jamboree Day for the Optimist and all that kind of fun stuff. I don't know why they're not doing that this year, but maybe we'll sniff around and try to figure that out.
Maybe Mike Prater will ask Coach Avalos that very question on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, probably not.
Okay, you're not going to go there?
I'd maybe go with Jeremiah Dickey on that one.
Yeah, okay, that's more of a Dickey question. Yeah. All right, guys, what would you do? Who would you want to see if you snuck into that controlled, quiet, closed down scrimmage tomorrow on the Blue?
Last thing I want to see, and maybe you guys do as well, I just want to see some production. I want to see some definition out of the return game. Cobb's punt return, Cobb's kick return. I have 5 guys on my depth chart for both the kick return and the punt return, and it's just based on what coaches have talked about and what players have talked about. Cobb's, Genty, Wright, that's his first name, the Cole Wright, I believe is his name. Holani and Caples have all been mentioned as guys back there playing around with the return game. I want to see some definition. I cannot wait to see. Cobbs is going to win one of these positions. I don't know if he's going to win them both. I want to see some massive return work from Steph Cobbs this year.
Think of all the history of the return game at Boise State. Chris Carr, Tim Gilligan, Avery Williams, a bunch of guys in between, Doug Martin on kickoffs. You know, like they have always had a great pick. They've always had such fortune when it comes to special teams in the return game. It'd be nice to have that type of firepower with this team this season. 15 days from Corvallis, Oregon State, Boise State opening up that season. Open Phone Friday on the Fat Guys Fresh Deli hotline. We need you. Any question, whatever you want. This is what Open Phone Friday is. Maybe something you caught in the show today or earlier in the week or anything you want to share. Call in. You know, talk to thousands of our listeners right now on Idaho Sports Talk on an Open Phone Friday. 208-424-9300. Let's line these calls up, JP, and have some fun when we come back on Prater on the Ballgame.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.